Hello and welcome to the Front Office Podcast. I'm your host, Marcus Cameron. And as always, our show is sponsored by Tees and Trees Clothing. Tees and Trees is where we stand on business. We got a great show for you today. We're going to talk Game 2, NBA Finals. OKC gets even, 1-1. We also going to touch on Aaron Rodgers a little bit with the Steelers. What the hell took so long? Let's get to the show. Hello and welcome to the Front Office Podcast. As I said before, I'm your host, Marcus Cameron. If you are a current subscriber, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. But if not, make sure you click on the like, subscribe, share, and comment button. Also, if you're a subscriber, make sure you hit the alert button. The alert is going to get you your content first. We are now also streaming on Spotify. I'm super happy about that. I'm going to put the link right here below. And let's talk Game 2, NBA Finals, man. OKC wins 123-107. It's kind of in and out on the game. I did go back and watch it last night. I had a cleaning. As my subscribers know, I have a cleaning company. So shout out to Dudley. Shout out to Mike Knight, Geechee Black, Mel, all those guys over there. Man, they hired a company to do a cleanup after their all-white day party. Didn't get a chance to go to the party, but I did, got paid. We got paid. That's the most important thing. Black people supporting black people. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I love to see it, especially when you do good business. Those guys always do good business. So, shout out to them. As far as Game 2, I definitely picked the Thunder to win that game. I thought they had to respond. It was a must. You can't go down 0-2 in the first two games was in your building. Now, we've seen it happen. We've definitely seen it happen before. Well, actually, I don't think I'm gonna have to double. I'm gonna double check that. Producer, who is me, when you edit, go back and look and see if this has ever happened as far as a team coming back to win after being down 0-2 with the first two games being at home. As far as the game is concerned, I thought it kind of went the same way as Game 1. The Thunder kept a big lead. I thought the difference was the second and I believe the first and second quarter. First quarter, the Thunder outscored the Pacers by 6. Second quarter, they actually outscored them by 12. Going into halftime, that's an 18-point lead. Not a big deal. They pretty much had the same kind of lead going into the third quarter of Game 1. I thought the big difference was Caruso and Wiggins for the Thunder. Don't get me wrong. Shea was great. Chet was definitely great. I think he had more points than he had he had more points than he had in the first quarter than he had all of Game 1. So he was a difference maker. I thought Jalen Williams was solid. But Caruso and Wiggins played 3 minutes the first game. I think he got 20 this game, and I think he had like 21 points. Caruso had 18 points. Caruso had 20 points. They got 45 points off their bench, and the Pacers got 31. Do the math. That's the difference in the game. The amount of free throws was pretty much the same. The Thunder hit way more. I think they were 29 for 33, and I think the Pacers were like 19 for 30. So you missed a lot more free throws. Rebounds were pretty even. Pacers actually had more fast break points. I just think the Caruso matchup is not a big deal, but it speaks to OKC's depth. Their depth on that team is lethal. Because any given night, a guy like Wiggins can come and give you 18 points, and it's the difference in you winning the ball game. And there is no more series after this. This is it. So I think Rick Carlisle will adjust. On the Pacers end, I've been seeing a lot of people saying, Halliburton has to be better. Halliburton has to be better. The only thing that I saw he did that wasn't great is he had 5 turnovers. Halliburton had 17 points. That was 3 more than he had before. He shot the same amount of shots, which means he had a better percentage. This game didn't have as many rebounds, and assists were down because they didn't shoot the ball well. Nobody's saying anything, but Siakam was 3 for 11 from the field. I thought he was the no-show, and if you're a subscriber to the show, I've said that Siakam, that matchup between him and Holmgren, that's going to play a big factor in who actually wins this series, because Chet should win that matchup, but Siakam is a wily vet. He's got championship experience. He knows how to play. He's a bucket getter, and he plays good defense. But tonight I thought they did a great job last night. I thought they did a great job of just limiting what he could do offensively. Again, 3 for 11, that's terrible. That's terrible. They're going back to Indy on Game 3 Wednesday. That'll be in Indiana. That's going to be a great game. That's going to be a really good game because the pressure's still on OK. Don't get this twisted. And I named this episode, How Can the Pacers Win the Championship or Win the Finals? And I'm going to tell you in just a second. But the pressure's still on OKC. Indiana did what they were supposed to do. They stole home court. They now have 2 games at home. If they win those 2 games, they go up 3-1, and you really put the pressure on OKC. So I would still say, it's not time to relax for OKC, but definitely you can breathe a little bit. You got to split at home. Now you got to go to Indiana and try to get one and even the series back up. I said before, I think that this particular series is going 6 or 7, barring any injuries. I picked the Pacers in 6 because I don't think they're experienced enough to go and win a Game 7 in OKC, but they've been proving me wrong all playoffs long, so we will see. I will get another episode out on Wednesday with a prediction and a little bit more of a breakdown, but again, it was a good game. Slower. I thought OKC did a better job of controlling the pace. Again, my big points are Siakam and Halliburton. Halliburton has to play better. Obi Toppin had 18 points in the first game, and he had 3 this game. So 1 for 5 for 3-pointer, 1 for 9 from the field. So I get, what some of the pundits on ESPN and all these other shows are going to say, but Siakam and the rest of those guys have to play better, and that starts with Halliburton. You can't turn the ball over. You have to get pace. You have to make the right reads because OKC is a very, very aggressively defensive team. In my opinion, I think they fouled the shit out of everybody they play, honestly. But if the ref's going to let you do it, I love to see the aggressive defense. It can work against you, is what I want to say. It can work against you, and I think Rick Carlisle is the guy to figure that out. But this is where it gets interesting. Now it's about the adjustments. What are we going to see? What does Rick Carlisle do to free up Halliburton? Do we make sure Siakam is getting more touches? It is what it is. But I do think Indiana's still going to win the series, and I'm going to tell you right now why I feel like they can win the finals. Winning the finals for Indiana is going to be a difficult task. It is. They have to play damn near perfect basketball. But here's why I say they can win. It's because they've already proven that they can damn near play perfect basketball. Game 1, it was the same scenario as Game 2, the exact same scenario. The Thunder led the entire game, and Indiana came back. The difference was Indiana couldn't make up the difference. The Thunder made timely shots. And again, 20 points from Caruso, 18 points from Wiggins. You lose by, 16. You lose by 16 points. Again, there's your 16 points. And you missed 10 free throws. So pace is what's going to get Indiana to win this series. Tyrese Halliburton, as much as criticism as I don't agree with that he's getting, there is a truth to it. Where there's smoke, there's fire. There's a truth to it. He has to control the game in order for them to win. He has to control the game. He has to get his guys involved. I'm not, I saw Brian Windhorst, shout out to him on ESPN, saying he has to be more aggressive as far as shooting the ball. I don't think so. I disagree with that. I think he has to be more aggressive with getting his guys shots and getting them into the spots that they need to perform. Miles Turner is another guy that has to be better for them. He has to be better. I didn't look at the stats from Game 2, but it wasn't super, super effective. I think a lot of old heads are complaining about the big man shooting a 3, and sometimes I want to tell y'all to shut the hell up, and then sometimes it's actually valid. In this particular case, he needs to be going to the basket. You need to be getting guys in foul trouble. You need to make them go small so y'all can take advantage of that. Once you have an advantage, Halliburton can find it. But when you don't have an advantage and they're able to get Lou Dort and Shea and Wiggins and Isaiah Joe and all these guys out there trapping and coming off of screens and doubling them and making sure the ball gets out of his hands, now it's a little bit harder to come back. It's a little bit harder to come back. But it's got to be Miles Turner. It's got to be Siakam. And it's got to be Obi Toppin. They have to be consistent in order for Indiana to win this series. They can't go home and have a bad Game 3 and let OKC steal it right off the bat, because I feel like that's going to change the momentum of the series. And I know everybody always says Game 5 is the big game. I don't disagree with that, but Game 3 is just important, especially if you just stole one on the road. Game 3 is just as important. You need to go in, if you're Indiana, and win Game 3. Keep the pressure on them. Keep the pressure on them and see if you can hold home court. If you can hold home court, Indiana has an amazing chance to win this finals, and it'll be good to see, especially since I picked them. But let's move over to the NFL. Let's talk Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers inked a $13.65 million deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers this weekend. $10 million guaranteed, but can go up to as high as $19.5 for 1 year of service for the old steel curtain. The Steelers. I know a lot of Steeler fans. Shout out to them. I know Aaron Rodgers took a lot of time with this. A lot of people were criticizing, very, very critical of how long it took. But the deal is done now. It's done before the OTAs and mini camps and things of that this summer. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm a Minnesota Viking fan, okay? And I'm going to go on record and say this. I'm a Minnesota Viking fan, and I've watched Aaron Rodgers play his entire career in the NFC North. He's 41 years old. He's limited. He's definitely not prime. Aaron Rodgers, not going to see him running around a lot in that pocket, but he has high football IQ. You gave him a major weapon in DK Metcalf. That's a good offensive line over there. I don't know what they're going to do with the running back position or what they have done. I didn't see what they've drafted. Defense is always solid. This is a good situation for Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers if they can get on one accord. Now, Mike Tomlin, of course, he's never had a losing season. They're pretty much always in the playoffs, whether it's a first-round exit or not. But I do think he might be a little bit on the hot seat if this doesn't work out. If this doesn't work out, I think ownership is going to start looking at Mike Tomlin. They're going to start looking elsewhere to see, especially if a hot coach pops up. But the Steelers don't change coaches very often. Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin, and I forget the coach name that coached Terry Bradshaw. That's pretty much been it for like the last 50, 60 years. So Pittsburgh is definitely about their culture. Whether Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers get along, I don't think that's going to be the problem. It's just, can Aaron Rodgers actually come out here and be effective? I don't think you need to be prime Aaron Rodgers, but you can't be what you were in New York. And I think New York had a lot more holes than Pittsburgh does. I think that's quite obvious. And you can't ask a 41-year-old guy or a 40-year-old guy at that point in time to fill all the holes with his greatness. Pause. I think you have to look at what's it going to be or what do you have around him. And he's older. It's going to take more in order for him to win. But I think it is a good situation for Pittsburgh. I do think it's going to be a very interesting situation to watch. My personal belief is I think Pittsburgh makes the playoffs. If he's healthy, they make the playoffs. And honestly, they probably are. With that defense, they probably are a Super Bowl contender. Very, I would say, not likely, but definitely a player in that AFC. I mean, you got Baltimore, you got Buffalo, of course, you got Kansas City. The Texans made a huge move in signing Nick Chubb, which is a great signing if he's healthy. He's coming off of that horrific injury, so a lot of teams were kind of scared away. But, I mean, that really, really opens up the Texans' backfield between him and Joe Mixon. That's crazy. That's going to get, and C.J. Stroud. So, but they're lacking a little bit in the wide receiver position as far as health is concerned. So the AFC is tough. The AFC is tough. It's going to be tough, but I think Pittsburgh will be one of those teams that are being in the playoffs, and they'll be right there at the end. But we shall see, man. Listen, this is all the time I got. Again, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, share, and follow button. Also, click on the alerts to get your content first. I am your host, Marcus Cameron. This is the Front Office Podcast. Peace.